Everybody, this is Michael Bunker, and this is our second pre 3 month fitness program video where I'm going to explain a little bit more of the details. You guys gather around, we're going to sit down and have a little talk, and hopefully we'll get prepared to get this thing started. All right, here we go. Video number 2, video 002 of the, I don't know even know what we're calling it, the BunkFit 3 month challenge, 3 month program, 3 month weight loss fitness thing. And so if you're new here, if you didn't watch the first video, it's okay. We'll get past it. Don't worry about it. If you're wondering why I'm sweating, why I'm hot, why I'm glowing, why I'm glistening, it's because it is hot. And I live off grid, so there's no air conditioning in here. Also, since I have banners and books, there's no breeze coming through here, so it's hot. It's what happens in June. But living off grid is great and get a lot of other benefits. But right now in June, it's hot. All right, so if you watched the first video, you should be well on your way to at least having the materials, the things that you need mentally to move forward. This is going to be our last pre-challenge. I don't even know if we're calling it a challenge. What are we going to call it? The pre-program. It's not even really a program. This is our last pre-challenge video. It doesn't matter when you start. So if you're watching this a year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now, 3 days from now, you can start it whatever day, pick a day. You have the information you need, you have the materials you need, you can get started. All right. As for me and any of the people that are watching these as they come out, I plan on starting, what day is it? Today's the 18th. I plan on starting on the 20th. All right. The 20th of June, 2020. But you can catch up. Doesn't matter. Does not matter when you start. All right. The things I asked you to do in the first video was that I wanted a weight, starting weight. And the way I wanted you to derive it is to weigh yourself on a digital scale for 7 days at the same time without any meals or coffee or anything else in you. Drop the bottom 2 numbers, drop the top 2 numbers. You should have 3 days left. Take those 3 middle ones, add them together, divide by 3, and you will have your average median weight. That's going to be your starting weight. And I explained in the first video why you need that number and why we do it that way. The second number we need is your caloric intake, not your maintenance. Don't get into a whole bunch of stuff online, figuring out times 16 divided by the square root of the distance between the moon and the stars. I just need your starting calories, and the way I asked you to do that is to get the MyFitnessPal on your smartphone or some form of calorie counter that easily and simply allows you to count calories of anything, even if you make a dish from scratch. But most of you, if you're eating at a restaurant or if you're eating foods that come from a store, all that app does is allows you to scan the barcode, bam, 30 seconds, you can do just about any meal. And so what I asked you to do is go ahead and get your caloric intake, everything that you intake other than water or coffee, black coffee. If you put cream in your coffee, you need to add that in. But get your total caloric intake for 7 days straight, the total for that 24 hours for 7 days straight. Drop the bottom 2 numbers, drop the top 2 numbers, take the middle 3 numbers, add them together, divide by 3. That's your caloric intake starting with. That's what I want everybody to do. If you're going to do this program with me, if you're going to run with me, that's what I want you to do. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. If you start like picking a day and say, I'm going to weigh on Sunday and that's going to be my day, my weight, that's fine. But you need to know the way the human mind works. And you are going to do stuff to fudge that number one way or another. You will. It's the way humans work. So the way I'm doing it stops your complicity in trying to cheat yourself or whatever to make, if you start doing that, then you're going to do what I did and what I would always do, which is fast all day Friday and Saturday just to make sure that number is as low as you can get it on Sunday. We don't want you doing that. We're going to talk about diets. We're going to talk about fasting. We're going to talk about keto. We're going to talk about carnivore. We're going to have videos on all that stuff. Well, here we are at the beginning, and I don't want to confuse you. So what I want you to do is to get those two numbers. I need your weight and I need your caloric intake. I don't need it, you need it, all right? So this is the last pre-program video, and in this video, I'm gonna give you the whole thing. As the program starts, twice a week, I'm gonna post videos that are just gonna be beneficial. We're gonna explain things. Those of you who know me from my other pages, my other YouTube channel, Bunker Nation, you know that I'm a reasonable person, that I use logic, I use reason, and I try to figure things out. I don't just go by what some expert or the science says or whatever else. I look up stuff, and I try to find out what makes common sense, what is nonsense. And since I'm not trying to sell you anything, I don't have a program to sell, I'm not in the fitness business, as you can see, then hopefully you'll at least know that what I'm offering to you is what I learned. That's it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist. I'm not a fitness expert or any of those things. There are people like that out there, but you have to figure out who they are. And a lot of them are really no good. All right. And so who am I? My name is Michael Bunker. I'm an author and a gentleman. And I wrote a book published in 2014 called Pennsylvania, which is being made into a major Hollywood film, with Patrick Tatopoulos as the director. Look up, in fact, I'll put it in the description for the novel, Pennsylvania. And I also have a YouTube channel, will be a link in the description, which is just me using reason and logic and talking about what's going on in the world in the day. And I'm an off-grid expert in preparedness, homesteading, all that kind of stuff. So I talk about pretty much any topics anybody wants to talk about. I do a live video almost every night at 7 p.m. So that's who I am. Because of the movie and the fact that I might have an opportunity to audition for a part that I wrote for me in the movie, I began a weight loss program on January 7th of 2020. And altogether, going back to like 2017, I've lost 101 pounds. Since January 7th, I've lost about 60. And so, or more, I don't remember. I don't keep close count since then, but 101 pounds overall. I am fit and in shape and still working, still building some muscle and doing a lot of other things that I'm going to share with you along the way. And that's why I decided to do this. It's just that so many people saw the transformation, the body transformation and everything else. They were asking me how I did it, what I did, and they already know that I'm a reasonable man, that I use reason and logic and those type of things. And so they figured, hey, why go through all these different machinations where people are selling stuff and doing stuff, and let's just see what Bunker has to say about it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to do any of it. None of this is mandatory. Do whatever you want, right? It's all free. All right. I'm looking at my notes if you want to. So right by now, you should have a median average weight and a median average caloric intake. What do these numbers tell us? Well, usually at this point in a program, the fitness expert will say, we need to figure out your maintenance calories. Your maintenance calories, simply identified, are what it takes for you living exactly like you live right now, which means sedentary or not sedentary, working out, not working out, exactly how you live right now. How many calories would it take for you to stay the same all the time? Every day, how many calories? It's going to be the same every day because it all averages out over the week. So let's just say that you're tremendously active, you work out every day, you run, you do all this stuff, and you're a male, 29 years old, and 6'3". It's very likely that your maintenance calories is 3,000, 3,200, something like that. And generally in a fitness program, they'd be figuring out what that is because they want to know that up front. We don't. If you are a sedentary person, maybe like me, you're in your 50s, and I do move around a lot because I work on a farm, but you don't move around that much. And you don't have a lot of muscle mass. Muscle burns calories. Then maybe your maintenance calories is 1,800, 2,200. I don't know. That's why I don't want to know. What we want to know is how many calories have you been eating is your average, median average, and we're going to start with that, and then later on we'll figure out what your maintenance calories are. You'll figure it out on your own using logic and reason without any math. Maybe not any math, but without any like advanced math. So we're starting off with your weight. Write that down, and we're going to start off with your calories. Write that down. And every day during this 3 months, you are going to weigh yourself and you are going to write down all of your calories. Now, you can skip a day here and there. If it's an off day and you don't want to do it, again, you do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you how to do it. You do it how you want to do it. All right? Here's a law. The second law of thermodynamics. Forget everything else you know about diets. Forget everything else you know about fitness. Forget about anything else. Here's a law. If you burn more calories than you take in, you're going to lose weight. Forget people getting on TV and on commercials and saying, I tried every diet out there. I dieted and dieted and dieted, and I never lost no weight. The fact that you dieted doesn't mean anything. The word diet just means what you eat. Everybody out there is on a diet because a diet just means what you eat. That's your diet. Got that out. It's not true that you operated at a caloric deficit for a long period of time and didn't lose weight. That's just not true. I don't care what your glandular problem is in the science that the doctor told you or whatever. You may have had periods of time where you operated at a caloric deficit, then you went on a binge or you went something else or something else was going on. But science says if you operate on a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. You're going to burn fat. You might burn muscle too. You might burn a combination of those things, but you are going to lose weight. You're going to get smaller and eventually you'll die. That's the facts. If you operate at a caloric deficit for long enough, you're going to die. You're going to die anyway, but I'm just saying. The science of what we're doing, of fitness, of getting healthy, of losing fat, is the science of managing that caloric deficit in a way that's healthy for you, that allows you to eventually get to a maintenance weight that you're happy with without any types of peaks and huge valleys and all this kind of stuff and crazy diets that you'll never be able to maintain for the rest of your life, so you don't even want to start. And all we're going to do in this program is we're going to figure out your personal to you program of how you need to do that. And for everybody, it might be a little bit different. I'm talking to a big expanse of people. There are people that are fit, people that already exercise, people that already run. There are people who have been fit before and who are not now. There are people who are sedentary and overweight and they're going to die in the next 5 years if they don't start moving. All those kinds of people. Let me go back to my notes here. All right. So if you operate at a deficit, a caloric deficit, which means you burn more calories than you take in or than you're burning in your maintenance steady state, you're going to lose weight. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try to get you starting off in a deficit of 100 to 500 calories a day. You get to decide. It can be 50 calories a day. It could be 500, whatever. Try to get between 100 and 500 calories a day less than what you were already eating, the number we started with, your calories. And I want you to do that for a week. All right? That's your first assignment. Your first assignment is to figure out what you're capable of doing. We're going to get into diet and how to eat better, how to eat more food with less calories and fewer calories, and all of that. Don't try to jump ahead of me. Right now is the real simple time. What I want you to do is eat 100 to 500 less calories, fewer calories per day than you were eating at the beginning. All right? What you think you can manage. We're not going to start adding in our exercise calories yet. We're not going to do all that. All I want you to do is something really simple. If your calorie number that you came up with when you measured for 7 days and you dropped the bottom 2, dropped the top 2, took the middle 3, added them together, divided by 3, if that number was 2,800 calories that you've been consuming every day, I want you to eat 2,700 or 2,200. Excuse me, 2,300. If you think you can cut out 5 calories and not be starving and not be really, really hungry, I don't want you to get yourself really, really hungry. Just cut out. One donut is 117 to 217 calories, probably closer to 200. Just cut one thing out or 2 things out and see how you feel. Try to do it for a week, and then I'm going to get that information from you next time, and we're going to move forward with it. From this and looking at that scale. So the scale is not the end of all. We're not trying to do a number on the scale. Don't start thinking that that scale means anything other than it's just a number that helps us adjust everything else. It's like the thermostat. We can look at it and we go, okay, well, you decided that you wanted to cut 500 calories a day. That's 7 days. That's 3,500 calories. That's burning 1 pound of fat. It takes 3,500 calorie deficit to burn 1 pound of fat. Doesn't mean you burned 1 pound of fat. You could have burned some muscle too. We're going to get to that. But you decide, theoretically, that you're going to do 500 calories a day, and you feel comfortable with that. And we get to the end of this week, and you get your average of the week, your average median number on the scale, and you didn't lose any weight. Well, something's wrong. If you operate at a caloric deficit for 7 days, you're going to lose weight. So either your starting number was too high or something else is going on and we got to figure out. That's what we're going to do. For most of you, probably start with 100 to 200 calorie deficit from the number we started with. It's not your maintenance calories, just the number you started with. If it's 2,800, try 2,600 calories a day for 7 days. If your number was 3,400, try 3,200 calories a day. Just try it. If you feel comfortable with it after day 2 or 3, then maybe jump it up. Don't do anything drastic. Don't try 1,000 calories a day. Don't try to do a bunch of stuff. Don't get on YouTube and start searching out. And this guy's, oh, the science says if you take your blood count and multiply it by 16, and all of a sudden I did 17 hours on the treadmill and I lost 40,000 calories. Don't do that stuff. Just listen to what I'm saying. We're going to go slowly. We got 3 months. It's going to be real slow, and I don't want you to do anything drastic. At the very beginning, you're likely to lose a lot of weight, and a lot of that's going to be water weight. And the reason why I have you doing this averaging, median averaging, rather than just taking your weight every day or taking one weight out of the middle, which is still manipulable. The reason I'm telling you that is because what we want to do is we want to be in this for the long haul. We don't want to overreact, which you'll do if you're taking daily numbers. And that's another thing. You're weighing yourself every day and you're writing it down, but we're taking the median average of 7 days. Do not change your diet or change your exercise program for 1 day. If you had a bad day, you ate too much, you looked at the scale the next day and you jumped up 3 pounds, don't try to overcorrect and take off 1,000 calories tomorrow. Just don't do it. That's what the dollar cost averaging is about. That's why we're doing the median average. That day is going to get dropped anyway. So don't even worry about it. All right, you're going to probably lose a lot of weight at the very beginning. A lot of that's going to be water weight. So we just don't want to overreact. We'll take a look at it after the first week. We'll adjust it a little teeny bit. We're just going to flick the thermostat a little bit, right? So on diet, that's basically it. Here's what I want you to eat. As much as possible, I want you to cut out high-calorie, nutritionless food. In other words, the easiest thing to do is cut out stuff you know you shouldn't be eating anymore. Don't cut it out forever. Think of it like a bank. All right? If you save some here, you get to spend it over here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get into a diet where you're hungry all the time. Because you will not maintain that diet. You will gain a lot of weight and you will go off the diet and you'll just yo-yo and your health will get worse and you'll plummet and you're going to die a fiery death somehow. What you want to do is you want to pick your fights. On your first day, pick out 3 or 4 items you know you shouldn't eat. They're heavy calories. They are not dense in food and nutrition, and just dump those real quick, and then you get those calories later, right? All but 200 to 500 of them. Most of you on your first day could pick 3 items that add up to over 1,000 calories. If you eat a burger, if you drink a Coke or anything like that, you've already got all your calories there. Doesn't mean you can't have a burger. Doesn't mean you can't have a fuzzy drink. What I'm saying is that every calorie you save on junk you shouldn't be eating is a percentage of calories you get to add later on to make sure you're full and that you're satiated and you're happy. We're not going to be doing any binge dieting, getting sick, not feeling good, miserable, not eating sweet foods, not eating things you want to eat, but you're going to pick your fights. So for example, when I make a omelet now, sometimes I use egg whites and sometimes I use whole eggs. There's no law. But I know if I use egg whites in an omelet, say I use 6 egg whites, and I live on a farm, so I get the eggs from under the chicken. I don't go buy a carton of egg whites, but you may want to. If I don't put the yolks in it, that's all the fat and the calories. That gives me that many calories later on in the day to eat stuff that I want to eat. Pancakes, French toast, pizza, stuff that we can make that's going to be better for us. All right? So just think about it that way. You know, you can have a cake, but just like look up online and find a way to do a low-calorie cake. Eat stuff that is filling, that fills you up, vegetables, fruits, and all those kind of things that have a lot of fiber density and food density, so it fills you up and stretches your stomach, but it doesn't have a lot of calories. Eat a lot of that. All right, and we'll talk about specifics, and I'm going to give you some recipes during this 3 months, and you're going to learn the whole thing, but this is how we start. All right, you also want to increase your protein. I'm going to ask you to write down. We're not going to keep macros. We're not going to go this many carbohydrates, this many fats, this many protein. The only thing we're going to keep is protein. Only thing we're going to keep track of. Everything that you eat, you're going to get the full calories, and you're going to write down your protein. And what I want you to do is I want you to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight at the weight you want to be, not the weight that you are. If you weigh 320 and you want to weigh 220, then you want to eat 220 grams of protein, not 320. If you weigh 175 and you want to weigh 195, you need to eat 195 grams of protein. Between 1 and 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. All right? That's the only rules. Keep your weight, keep your calories, count your protein. That's it. All right? All right. Food is the number one thing that we're going to talk about. Food is the most important thing. The second most important thing is calories in, calories out, which is a part of the food thing. The third most important thing is going to be exercise, which we're going to get to. So now we're at headline, exercise. What I want you to do is walk. That's it. We're going to walk. That's how I started. Day 1, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning and I started walking, and I haven't stopped yet. All right? Why walking? Walking is the best exercise you can do when all of the different elements are added together. You can burn more calories by running, but you do more damage by running. You risk more energy by running, and you most likely will quit running. Unless you're a running fiend. If you already run and you love to run and you love the endorphins, that's fine, but don't pretend it's better for you, because it's not. Walking burns more calories than most exercises that anybody else can do and maintain and keep doing. That's the second part. People always stop at the first part. Which one burns the most calories? Doesn't matter if you don't do it, if you stop doing it. Walking burns more calories than working out in the gym. Walking burns more calories than bench pressing and doing all the rocks workout. You can burn more calories in a day by walking than you will burn by running, just because you won't run that much. You can burn 1,000 calories a day walking. Not really that difficult. Maybe a little difficult, but it's not really that difficult. Just think about it. If I walk at a very brisk rate, I can burn 75 calories in 10 minutes. All right? That means I can burn over 300 and some calories in 1 hour of walking. If you're walking at a moderate pace, you can probably walk a mile in 15 to 18 minutes, which means you can walk close to 4 miles in an hour, right? Which means you can burn 300 to 500 calories in an hour of moderate walking. There's no way you're going to do an hour of moderate weightlifting. There's no way most of you are ever going to do an hour of running. And if you do, eventually you're going to quit, because You're just not going to. If you like it, I'm not bashing running. If you like it and you're already doing it, just keep doing it. But for most of us, especially if you're 53 years old and you're not currently working out, you want to start by walking. Try to get a minimum of 10 to 13,000 steps a day. That's where we're going to start at. 10 to 13,000 steps a day. That's right around 5.5, 6 to 6 miles. All right? You're going to burn a lot of calories. All right? And we're not even going to start counting those calories yet. Those calories are getting burnt. They're adding to your deficit, but we're not thinking about it. We're not figuring out what our deficit is yet. All right? So we're going to cut 200 calories from our diet, and we're going to add burning calories by walking. If you walk 13,000 steps a day, which is about 6 miles a day, that is, I'm really bad at math, 42, 43 miles a week. All right? You're going to burn a lot of fat, and your muscles are going to start moving. Your heart's going to start moving. You're going to start feeling better. And what I did is I started at 10,000, and very quickly, within a week or two, I was doing 20,000 because I felt good. If you don't feel good, I don't want you to jump it huge, because if you jump it huge at the beginning, it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room to go. All right? Walking 50,000 steps, believe me, you can find my 50,000 step challenge. It takes all day. We don't want to get there when we have a 3-month program ahead of us. Add 1,000. Do more work than you did yesterday. So if you walked 10,000 steps yesterday, try 1,500. Try 1,250. Just a little bit more. Try 15,000 or try 12,500 or try 11,000. Just do more than yesterday. It can be 50 steps more than yesterday. But make sure you feel good. Make sure you're not starving. Make sure you don't hurt yourself. Make sure that you don't want to quit. If you're doing it and you want to quit, unless you're me, because I don't quit, you're going to quit. All right? And I don't want you to quit. I want you to do this. All right? So everyone's different. Not everyone can walk. My good friend messaged me and said, I can't walk even across the room because my knees are so bad. I have to sit down. There's 2 solutions to that. Don't walk and do something else. Do torso twists in your chair. Get in a chair that doesn't have a back on it. Do torso twists. Start with that. Okay? Move your arms. Wave your arms. Work your chest. Move, and do it for a legitimate amount of time, 10 to 20 minutes every hour or every hour or two. Just do more tomorrow than you do today. Do more today than you did yesterday. All right? Start moving. If you're able to walk across the room and it's not going to put you in the hospital and you could walk 6 steps and sit down, then walk 6 steps and sit down. Wait until you feel good, then walk 6 steps back and sit down. Do that every half hour. Everything that you do is more than you were doing. That's the whole philosophy here. If you do more than you were doing yesterday, you're going to get better. You're going to feel better. You're going to be moving more. You're going to burn fat with the adding in of the caloric deficit plus moving. You're going to feel better. Your heart's going to get better. All of my medical issues are resolving. All right? So what can you do? If you're injured, figure out what can you do. It's up to you. All right? All right. So I said walk 10,000 steps a day minimum. Muscle burns more calories than anything else. Theoretically, when I started, it would have been better, theoretically, if I had started by lifting weights, got my muscles bigger, and then muscles burn weight while you're just living, while you're sitting here doing a video. I didn't do that because I didn't want to get hurt. I was very, very concerned about getting hurt, and so I started walking first. As soon as you feel capable, as soon as you're able to do it, and you feel like, or your doctor feels like you can do it, you want to start adding in some body weight exercises. Push-ups, knee push-ups, something simple. Do 2, do 3. I started off on the elliptical, and the first couple of times I did it, I could not do 3 minutes on the elliptical. And I was talking to my wife one day, and I said, well, how long do you do on the elliptical? She said, I usually watch a show, maybe 45 minutes. 45 minutes, I couldn't do 3 minutes. So I started pushing myself. Every day I went to 5 minutes. Then the next day I went to 7 minutes. Then I went to 11 minutes. Pretty soon I was able to do an hour really with not much problem. Same thing with push-ups. If you can't do a push-up, do a knee push-up. Have your knees on the ground and do one. The next day do 2. When you get to where you can do 15 knee push-ups, do a regular legitimate push-up and do 1. If you don't want to do push-ups, figure something else out. Find something that you want to do that you will keep doing that's going to help you build muscle. The reason you want to build muscle is not because you want to be in a movie like me or you want to be a muscle man or a muscle woman. It's because muscle burns more fat. But just being muscular, you burn more fat. The more muscular you are, you can just sit there and calories get burned. All right. All right. The second philosophy after do more than yesterday is progressively increase. Progressively increase the amount of walking that you're doing slowly over time. Any cardio that you're doing, anything you add in extra. If you like to throw the baseball around the backyard, do it a little longer. Do it 1 minute longer tomorrow. If you like to kick a football around the park, do it for 1 or 2 minutes longer. We're going to progressively increase everything that you're doing. All right? If you're doing push-ups, add a push-up. Do more than yesterday. All right? I got my notes here. I'm trying to get this all in because it's hot and I got a show to do on my live show at 7 p.m. Look down in the description for that. All right. Walking is first and best. If you have the ability to use machines, elliptical machine, treadmill, a rower, a bike, those things are great and you are much less likely to get injured. If you're my age, 53 years old, and you getting started and you don't want to hurt yourself, which you should not want to hurt yourself, and you have access to machines, you have access to a gym, or if you have an exercise bike, do it. Use it. But do it in a way that makes you not hate it, right? Do it for 5 minutes. That's more than yesterday. Then do it for 6 minutes. Switch it up, right? Always remember, if something sucks really, really bad, you're going to stop doing it unless you're crazy like me or like some people that are like me. I like to do things that suck really bad. I embrace discomfort, but not everybody does, and I don't want you to quit. Don't take that as a challenge that you got to do stuff just because I said that. Most people, you're going to be better off if you do stuff that doesn't suck too bad. Monitor yourself. If you feel bad, if you feel weak, if you feel sick, if you feel like something's wrong, see a doctor, talk to a doctor or whatever, stop doing what you're doing. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a kinesiologist. I'm not a exercise physiologist. I'm not any of those things. I'm just a guy who lost some weight by doing this stuff, and I'm helping to share it with you. I'm not telling you to do anything. At the same time, we want to have measures. If you are losing 2 to 5 pounds a day, keep an eye on it. That's pretty high end. We don't want to go much farther than 2 pounds. In a week, we don't want to go much farther than 2 pounds. But sometimes that's just water weight. So that's why we're taking our weekly median average. You're going to lose a lot up front. You may lose 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I have no idea. People do it. I do it. Right? Drink a lot of water. Keep yourself hydrated. Weigh yourself daily. Get your median average. Keep an eye on it. If you're losing too much weight, back off of your caloric deficit. Eat a little bit more. With your exercise, I'm not telling you to add them in yet. I'm just saying, looking at your caloric intake, if you do a 500 calorie deficit and you're losing 2 to 3 pounds a day or 10 pounds in a week, you want to go back up to where you were to start. Because the exercise is obviously knocking off a lot of water and all that kind of stuff. We're going to use these 2 things, your weight and the calories, and we're going to fly this plane. We're going to use it to eyeball it and fly this plane, right? You're going to look and you're going to go, okay, well, I would like to lose a safe amount of weight, which is 1 to 2 pounds a week. If we're doing this for 13 weeks, that means you're going to lose 13 to 26 pounds safely. You're not, and some of you may lose a little bit more, and some of you may lose a little less. But we don't want to be we don't want to be up there trying to lose 25 to 50 pounds, because as soon as you're done, you're going to hate it, and you're going to go back to the way you used to live. And what we're trying to do is establish a way to live that is permanent, right? That's why we're going to give you recipes. You're going to eat sweet stuff. You're going to eat chicken. You're going to eat stuff that you love, and fruit and vegetables and sweets, and you're going to stay full, and it's just going to be easy. Stay full. Don't starve yourself. Watch your calories. Eat low-calorie dense foods. A lot of protein. Up your protein. There's a lot of science that says if you're over 50 years old, you should up your protein at least 30%, which means you're safer going more than I'm saying. You don't want to go less. Snacks. All right. We're going to get into some good snacks, but think of things that are filling, that have a lot of good nutrition in them, but don't have a crap ton of calories. Apples, fruit, vegetables. You know, I like rice cakes with a PB2. Buy yourself some PB2. It's like powdered fake peanut butter, but it's delicious. You mix it up with water and you put it on one of those rice cakes. Everybody thinks it sucks, but it doesn't. And what I do is I got the Walden Farms no-calorie syrup, and instead of water, I mix it up with the Walden Farms, and it's 0 calories added. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe 5. I don't know. It's something small. And I spread that on the rice cake like eating dessert. And it fills me up. It makes me stop thinking about food. And it's a total of like just 65, 70, 80, 100 calories for a dessert. You know, you go down there and you get a slice of cake down at the Cheesecake Factory, you're going to eat 600 calories, 700, 800, 900 calories. Stop drinking the soda waters. Get yourself some flavored sparkling water. Right? Grapefruit sparkling water. 0 calories, 0 sodium, 0 gluten, 0 diet sweeteners. And you pop it and it's cold and it's fizzy. And you drink it and you can, oh my gosh. It satiates you. It makes you feel full. It makes you feel like you had a Coke. Right? Be happy. Yogurt. Cottage cheese. Great foods. High protein, fill you up, take a while to digest, eat them late at night. Everybody says don't eat after 6 o'clock. That's bull. That's bull. You want to eat these foods, specifically yogurt and cottage cheese, even before you go to bed. Eat a bunch of it. Eat a serving or 2. It goes in your stomach. It's full of whey protein. It's like taking a protein shake. You get a bunch of protein, but it takes your body all night long to work through it, and you're burning calories, maybe a few, I don't know, and then you're full, and you're not going to get up in the middle of the night and eat those donuts that are left from your binge day. Don't have binge days. That's the other thing. All right, I think I've covered what I want to cover. Protein shakes are good. We'll talk more about that on another deal, and when to consume those things and all that kind of stuff as we develop. If you have questions, leave them in the comments or private message me or direct message me. And so I don't know if I've got any more to cover, but that's going to be it for right now. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Go down in the description. There's a couple ways that I put down there, links to stuff that I've mentioned that are helpful to you and other things you might want to check out. All right, y'all. Talk to you on the first official program or challenge video coming up next.